The message came through at 300 hours, waking Captain from a restless sleep. He stumbled to the communications console on the deep space station, rubbing his eyes. The signal was unlike anything he had seen before. It was desperate, repeating every 30 seconds, broadcasting on every frequency imaginable. His fingers moved quickly across the controls. He was good at his job, had been monitoring deep space for 7 years now. Most days nothing happened, but this was different. The signal came from far away, beyond any human colony. Someone out there was calling for help. "Computer, analyze signal," ordered. The station's systems hummed to life. Lines of data scrolled across his screen. The computer worked for 20 minutes before producing results. The message was in a language Earth had never heard before, but mathematics was universal. The computer found patterns, matched them, and slowly built a translation. What read made his blood run cold. The message spoke of invasion, of dying worlds, of billions killed. It included star charts showing the location of hundreds of planets. It begged for help from anyone who could hear it. The message ended with a simple phrase that the computer translated as, "If you can fight, please come. We are dying." Immediately sent the message up the chain of command. Within 4 hours, it reached Admiral at Earth Fleet Command. She sat in her office, reading the translation 3 times. Her coffee grew cold as she studied the star charts. The aliens who sent this message were real. They were in trouble, and they had no idea humans even existed. Called an emergency meeting with Earth's military council. The room filled with admirals, generals, and politicians. They argued for 2 hours. Some said it was a trap. Others said humanity should stay hidden, safe behind Earth's borders. A few suggested studying the situation before acting. Admiral listened to them all, then stood up. She was not a tall woman, but when she spoke, everyone listened. 15 years ago, we developed faster-than-light travel. We've been watching the galaxy in silence, hiding like children afraid of the dark. Now someone is calling for help. They're dying, and we have the power to answer. "We don't know anything about these aliens," one politician argued. "They could be dangerous." "They're being slaughtered," replied. "The dangerous ones are whoever is killing them. I say we answer the call. We take the Third Fleet and we help them. That's what humans do. We don't hide when others need us." The vote was close, but won. She had 48 hours to prepare the Third Fleet for departure. 40 warships, designed over the past decade for theoretical alien invasions. Ships built tough because humans assumed any alien threat would be terrible. Now those ships would finally leave Earth's solar system for real combat. Commander joined the fleet immediately. He commanded the destroyer Soul's Pride, a fast attack ship bristling with missile tubes. He gathered his crew and gave them the news. "We're going to war," he told them. "Not against aliens who attacked us, but to help aliens who are dying. I won't lie to you, this might be dangerous, but it's the right thing to do." His crew cheered, not because they wanted war, but because they wanted to help. That was the thing about humans. They ran toward danger when others needed saving. Captain Sora prepared her medical frigate, the Mercy. She loaded extra supplies, extra medicine, everything she could think of. She had no idea what alien biology would be like. Would human medicine even work on them? She packed it all anyway. Her medical staff worked around the clock, preparing for casualties they hoped would never come. The Third Fleet assembled in Earth orbit, 40 ships carrying 12,000 crew members. Admiral stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Indomitable. She looked at Earth through the viewport, wondering if she would see it again. Then she pushed that thought away. There was work to do. "All ships report ready, Admiral," her communications officer said. Took a deep breath. "Set course for the coordinates from the distress call, maximum speed. Let's go help our new friends." The fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed. The journey would take 3 weeks. During that time, drilled her crews constantly. They practiced combat maneuvers, damage control, emergency procedures. They studied what little they knew about the galaxy beyond Earth. joined the fleet aboard the Indomitable, serving as intelligence officer. He spent his days trying to learn more about the aliens who sent the distress call. The computer had translated their language enough to understand basic concepts. They called themselves the Union. They valued peace. They had never known real war before. "Admiral, I don't think they know how to fight," reported one day. "Their message talks about shields and evasion. They retreat from battles. They try to talk instead of shooting." Frowned, and whoever is attacking them. The message calls them the insect-like, aggressive. They don't communicate, they just attack and consume. Pulled up images extracted from the message. They showed destroyed cities, burning worlds. The Union has been fighting for months and losing badly. "Then they need us more than I thought," said quietly. On the 20th day of travel, long-range sensors picked up something. A battle happening in real time. Union ships fleeing from attackers. Ordered the fleet to battle stations. This was it. First contact would be in combat. Commander's destroyer was at the front of the formation. He watched his screens as the battle became clearer. 3 large ships were chasing 5 smaller Union vessels. The Union ships were taking heavy damage. As watched, one exploded. "All ships weapons free," his voice came over the fleet-wide channel. "Let's show these what humans can do." The Third Fleet dropped out of faster-than-light speed right in the middle of the battle. The ships didn't know what hit them. Human-fired solid slugs at incredible speeds. Human missiles tracked their targets with deadly accuracy. The battle that would define humanity's place in the galaxy had begun. And the galaxy would never be the same. Commander's fingers flew across the weapons console. His destroyer, Soul's Pride, was the fastest ship in the vanguard. He had clear shots at all 3 hunter ships. The aliens were focused on the fleeing Union vessels and hadn't noticed the human fleet yet. "Target the lead ship," ordered. "Fire when ready." The fired. A solid tungsten slug accelerated to 30% the speed of light. It crossed the distance in seconds and punched through the ship's hull like paper. The alien vessel exploded in a bright flash. The other 2 ships spun around, confused. They had never encountered weapons like this. Their sensors hadn't even detected the incoming projectile. Before they could react, the rest of squadron opened fire. Missiles streaked through space. More rounds followed. In less than 4 minutes, all 3 ships were destroyed. The Union vessels stopped fleeing. They drifted in space, their crews probably shocked. Admiral ordered the Mercy forward. Captain Sora would make first contact. Sora's medical frigate approached the largest Union ship slowly, broadcasting friendship messages on all channels. The computer tried its best to translate human words into the Union language. "We are friends. We received your message. We came to help." After several long minutes, the Union ship responded. A shaky voice came through, speaking in their own language. The computer translated, "Who are you? What are you?" "We are humans from Earth," Sora replied. "We heard your distress call. Are you hurt? Do you need medical help?" The Union ship sent docking coordinates. Sora felt her heart racing as the Mercy connected with the alien vessel. She wore her full uniform, trying to look professional and friendly. Her medical team stood behind her, ready for anything. The airlock opened. Sora stepped through and got her first look at an alien species. They were small. The tallest one barely reached Sora's shoulder. Their skin was pale blue, smooth like a dolphin's. They had large eyes that seemed to take up half their face. Their bodies were thin, delicate. They wore simple clothing that looked like robes. But what struck Sora most was the fear in their eyes. The aliens looked at her the way prey animals look at predators. They were trembling. "It's okay," Sora said softly, holding up her empty hands. "We're here to help. I'm a doctor. Are any of you injured?" One alien stepped forward. She wore a badge that might have indicated rank. She was shaking but trying to be brave. "I am," she said. The computer translated well enough. "I speak for this ship. You are very large." Sora realized the problem. To these gentle aliens, humans must look terrifying. She was nearly 2 meters tall, heavily muscled from Earth's high gravity. Her bone structure was thick and dense. When she smiled, trying to be friendly, flinched at the sight of her teeth. "We're from a heavy-gravity world," Sora explained gently. "Our planet is harsh. We evolved to be strong, but we don't want to hurt you, we want to help." Slowly relaxed. "The creatures you destroyed, you killed them so easily. We've been fighting them for 7 months. We've lost hundreds of ships. You destroyed 3 in minutes." "Our weapons are designed to kill quickly," Sora admitted. "We'll teach you about them later. Right now, please, let me check if anyone is hurt." She spent the next hour treating wounded Union crew members. Their biology was different but not impossible to understand. They had blood, bones, organs. Sora's scanner worked well enough. She treated burns and wounds, setting broken bones with careful precision. While she worked, Admiral arrived with Commander. They met within what the Union called their command room. It was smaller than a human bathroom. Had to duck to fit inside. "Thank you for saving us," said. She still looked scared but also grateful. "I must ask, what kind of world creates beings like you?" Glanced at, they had expected this question, but it was still hard to answer. "Earth is what scientists call us," said. "High gravity, dangerous weather, aggressive predators. Humans evolved by competing with other apex predators. We learned to make tools, weapons, to cooperate. We had to be tough to survive." Large eyes went even wider. "Your world tried to kill you." "Every day," answered. "Storms that could destroy cities, predators that hunted in packs, diseases, earthquakes, volcanoes. Earth was never gentle with us, so we became strong." "And now you fight for us," said softly. "Why, you don't know us." "Because you asked for help," said simply. "That's enough." Led them to her ship's strategic display. It showed a map of Union space. Red markers indicated invasions. There were dozens of them. Entire sectors had fallen. "We are losing," admitted. "The breed fast, attack without warning, and never stop. We tried to negotiate. They don't communicate, they just consume everything." Studied the map. Her military mind was already forming strategies. "Show me your defensive positions." What she saw shocked her. The Union's defensive doctrine was built around shields and evasion. Their ships could take hits but rarely fired back aggressively. They tried to disable enemy ships, not destroy them. They retreated when battles went badly. "You're fighting to not lose," said, "not fighting to win." "We are a peaceful species," explained. "All Union members are. We've had peace for 12,000 cycles. We don't know how to fight like you do." Pulled up data on the human fleet's weapons. "Our ships carry that fire solid projectiles at incredible speeds, missiles with nuclear warheads, laser point defense systems. Every ship is designed to destroy threats quickly." Looked horrified. "You put nuclear weapons on every ship." "It's effective," said. "Look, we understand you value peace. We do too. But right now you're facing extinction. They don't care about your peaceful nature. They only understand force. That's something humans know very well." "Will you teach us to fight like you?" asked quietly. Shook her head. "Your bodies can't handle it. The maneuvers our ships make would kill your crews. The G-forces alone would crush you. But we can fight for you. We can show the what happens when they threaten innocent people." Looked at for a long moment. Despite her fear, despite how alien and dangerous humans appeared, she saw something in his eyes: determination, honor, kindness buried under strength. "The Union Council needs to meet you," said. "They need to see what you are. Some will be afraid. Some will want you to leave. But others will understand that you're our only hope." "Then take us to them," said. "The sooner we coordinate, the sooner we can start pushing the back." As they prepared to travel to the Union's capital world, Sora finished treating the last patient. A young Union child, barely injured but traumatized. The child looked up at Sora with those huge eyes. "Are you really here to help us?" the child asked. Sora knelt down, making herself smaller, less threatening. "Yes, we're going to protect you, I promise." The child hugged her. Despite everything, despite the fear and the difference, that simple gesture said everything. The Union needed help. Humans had answered, and somehow they would find a way to win this war together. The Third Fleet set course for the Union capital, escorting the damaged Union vessels to safety. Behind them, the debris of 3 ships drifted in space. It was humanity's first victory in an alien war. It would not be the last. The Union Council chambers were built for species much smaller than humans. Admiral had to stand in the back while the delegates sat in rows of seats designed for beings half her size. She didn't mind. She could see everyone from there. The council represented hundreds of species. All of them stared at her with expressions ranging from curiosity to outright terror. Stood at the front, making the introduction. She had vouched for the humans, risked her reputation to bring them here. "Honored Council," began. "These humans destroyed 3 ships in 4 minutes. They came from beyond our mapped space. They heard our distress call and traveled 3 weeks to help us." A delegate from the stood up. He was even smaller than, with green skin and 4 arms. "They are," he said, voice shaking. "Look at them. They are built for violence. How do we know they won't turn on us after they are gone?" Stepped forward, the council members flinched. She realized she needed to be careful with her words. "We understand your fear," she said. "You've never met beings like us. Yes, we come from a dangerous world. Yes, we know how to fight, but we also know honor. We know compassion. We came because you needed help, not because we want to conquer you." "But you carry such terrible weapons," another delegate said. "Nuclear explosives on every ship. Weapons designed to destroy, not disable." "Because they won't surrender," replied. "They won't negotiate. They'll keep coming until you're all dead or they are. You need someone willing to do what's necessary. That's us." The debate went on for hours. Finally, the council took a vote. It was close, but they approved a joint operation. Could use 20 Union ships to support her human fleet. In return, she would follow some basic Union laws and report to the council. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. Split her fleet immediately. Half would stay to defend the Union capital and nearby systems. The other half, under Captain's command, would go to the outer rim where the fighting was worst. Took 20 human warships to the gate, a critical jump point that connected 5 different sectors. If the took, they could attack the Union heartland. The defenders there were preparing to evacuate when arrived. "We're not evacuating," told the Union commander, an elderly named. "We're making a stand here." Looked at the tactical display. "But there are over 200 ships coming. My forces have 40 vessels. Even with your 20, we're outnumbered 4-1. "Numbers don't always matter," said. "Trust me. Get your ships ready to support us. We're going to hold this gate." The fleet arrived 6 hours later. They came out of faster-than-light speed in a massive swarm. Their ships were ugly things, organic-looking with chitinous armor. They moved like insects, quick and unpredictable. Lieutenant commanded the frigate runner. She was young, only 26, but she was one of the best tactical officers in the fleet. She watched the approach and smiled. "Target their flagship. Load nuclear torpedoes." Her crew worked quickly. The runner was small but deadly. Its torpedoes launched silently, streaking through space on courses that looked random but weren't. They were programmed to evade defensive fire, to wait for the perfect moment. The flagship never saw them coming. 3 torpedoes detonated simultaneously. The nuclear explosions tore through the flagship's hull. It broke apart and the formation wavered. "All ships fire at will," ordered. The human fleet opened up, fired continuously. Missiles launched in waves. The humans used tactics the Union had never seen. They didn't stand in formation and trade fire. They moved aggressively, using their superior engines to get close, strike hard, and break away. Commander's cruiser led a charge right into the center of the swarm. His ship took heavy fire. Plasma bursts scorched its armor. Kinetic projectiles hammered its shields, but kept pushing forward. "Sir, we're taking critical damage," his engineering officer reported. "Keep going," ordered. "Get us to that medical station." A Union medical station was caught between two groups of ships. Civilian ships were trying to evacuate, but fighters were cutting them down, positioned between the station and the attackers. His ship's point defense lasers cut through fighters. His destroyed the larger ships. But there was being torn apart. Hull breaches opened across 3 decks. The crew worked in emergency suits, some sections exposed to vacuum, refused to back down. "As long as we can shoot, we stay here." The battle raged for 3 hours. The humans fought with an intensity the Union had never witnessed. They took damage that would have destroyed Union ships and kept fighting. When ships were crippled, their crews transferred to escape pods while automated systems continued firing. They had never experienced resistance like this. They were used to Union ships that fled or died quickly. These human ships fought back hard. They targeted weak points precisely. They coordinated their attacks perfectly. And they never, ever stopped. A boarding party managed to breach the 20 warriors poured through a hull breach, expecting to slaughter the crew. Instead, they found and his Marines waiting. The humans fought hand to hand. They were bigger, stronger, and angrier than the expected. Marines in combat armor punched through carapaces. They used combat knives designed to cut through thick armor. The boarding party was eliminated in less than 3 minutes. "Boarding party neutralized," reported, breathing hard. "How's the medical station?" "Evacuated, sir," his communications officer replied. "All civilian ships are away." "Good. Now get us out of here before we fall apart completely." By the time the battle ended, they had lost 40 ships. 20 more were badly damaged and retreating. The human fleet had lost 3 ships completely and 8 more were heavily damaged. But they had held the gate. The Union forces watched in amazement. They had never seen anyone defeat a swarm before. The humans hadn't just won. They had made it look almost easy. Contacted after the battle, the Old's voice was full of emotion. "You saved us. You saved thousands of civilians. How can we ever thank you?" "You don't need to thank us," said. He was in the Indomitable's medical bay being treated for injuries from when a console exploded on the bridge. "We're just doing our job, but we need your ships to get better at fighting. They are learning about us now. Next time will be harder." "Teach us," said. "Please, show us how to fight like you do." Smiled despite the pain. "I'll do my best, but understand you can't fight exactly like us. Your bodies can't take the punishment. We need to find a way that works for you." Meanwhile, Admiral was conducting her own mission. She had taken 5 ships deep into controlled space. Her goal was intelligence. She needed to understand the enemy better. What she found shocked her. They weren't mindless monsters. They had cities, technology, a complex society. They were intelligent, but they were also desperate. Their worlds were overcrowded. They needed space to expand. "They're not evil," told her intelligence officer. "They're just trying to survive like any species, but that doesn't make what they're doing right." She also discovered something important. They had hive queens. Kill the queen and an entire hive lost coordination. The queens were located on 17 main hive worlds, heavily defended. Engineer, working in the Indomitable's computer systems, managed to hack into a captured ship. She extracted star charts and military data. When she brought the information to, the Admiral studied it carefully. "We can end this war," said quietly. "But it means striking at their home worlds. It means killing their queens. That's not just war, that's something much harder." "What's the alternative?" asked. "The Union keeps losing ground until they consume everything." Made her decision. She sent an encrypted message back to the Union Council. In it, she detailed a plan for a massive coordinated strike. hit multiple hive worlds simultaneously, destroy the queens, force them to surrender. It was brutal, it was ruthless, it was exactly the kind of plan I would make, and it was the only way to win. The Union Council chamber erupted in chaos when Admiral presented her plan. Delegates shouted over each other. Some called it genocide, others called it their only hope. The debate lasted 2 full days. Stood beside throughout it all, the Small had become humanity's strongest supporter in the council. "Listen to me," said during a brief quiet moment. "I was afraid of humans when I first met them. They looked like monsters from my nightmares, but they saved my ship. They saved my crew. They fight and die to protect us." "They want to attack civilian populations," a delegate argued. "The hive worlds have billions of, not all of them are soldiers." Stepped forward, she chose her words carefully. "The queens coordinate all military actions. Remove them and they'll lose their ability to wage war. Yes, this is harsh. Yes, it will cost lives, but consider the alternative. How many Union civilians have died already? How many more will die if this war continues for years?" The council voted. 51% approved operation. It was barely a majority, but it was enough. Had authorization to proceed. She returned to the Third Fleet and began preparations. The plan was ambitious. 8 simultaneous strikes across space, 7 hive worlds and 1 central communication relay. Every attack needed to happen at exactly the same time. Captain commanded the stealth ship Silent Wind. Her mission was the most dangerous. She would lead a small team to destroy the central relay deep in territory. Without that relay, the hive queens couldn't coordinate their defenses. Selected her team carefully. 20 specialists, all volunteers. They knew the odds were bad. The relay was protected by the largest fleet in their space. Getting in would be nearly impossible. Getting out might be worse. "We don't need to get out," told her team. "We just need to complete the mission. The rest of the fleet depends on us." Her team loaded extra explosives, extra supplies. The Silent Wind was designed for stealth, with advanced cloaking and minimal weapons. It would have to slip past hundreds of ships without being detected. Meanwhile, Commander worked with Union forces to prepare the main assault groups. He organized mixed task forces, combining human warships with Union support vessels. The Union ships would handle evacuation and logistics. The human ships would do the fighting. Medical officer, Sora created a crash training program for Union medical staff. Human combat was brutal. She needed Union doctors who could handle the casualties, both human and alien. She developed new medicines that could help Union soldiers survive the stress of human combat maneuvers, though she warned they would still black out from the G-forces. "Your bodies just aren't built for this," Sora explained to a group of Union military officers. "When we make a high-speed turn, we pull forces that would your internal organs. These stimulants will help, but you need to stay in support roles. Let us do the close combat." Lieutenant, a tactical officer, spent weeks analyzing communication networks. She was the one who discovered the central relay's importance. "It's like their brain," she explained to Admiral. "Each hive queen controls her own forces, but they coordinate through this relay. Destroy it and they'll fight independently. They'll make mistakes." "How long will we have after the relay goes down?" asked. "Best estimate, 30 minutes before they adapt, maybe an hour if we're lucky. Then we hit them fast and hard within that window." The fleet gathered at a staging point 3 weeks later, 50 human warships and 300 Union support vessels. It was the largest combined force ever assembled. Stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and looked at the fleet displayed on her screens. "This is it," she said to her bridge crew. "Everything we've worked for comes down to the next 48 hours. We're going to end this war." Captain would lead the assault on Hive, the largest world. He had 15 warships and 60 Union support vessels. His mission was to draw the main fleet while the other groups hit their targets. Commander, recovered from his injuries at Gate, would lead the strike on Hive. Lieutenant had Hive. Other captains had the remaining Hive worlds. Each group knew their targets, their timing, their backup plans. The night before the operation, called all senior officers to a meeting. They gathered in the Indomitable's main conference room. Humans and Union officers together, planning an attack that would decide the fate of the galaxy. "Some of you won't come back," said bluntly. "This operation is dangerous. The will fight harder than they ever have before. We're attacking their homes, their queens. They'll throw everything at us." "We know the risks," Admiral said. "We all volunteered for this." Nodded. "I want you to understand why we're doing this. Not for glory, not for conquest. We're doing this to protect the innocent. The Union didn't start this war. They just want to live in peace. They won't let them, so we're going to make the stop." Representing the Union forces stood up. "When I first saw humans, I thought you were monsters. I was wrong. You're protectors. You're heroes. No matter what happens tomorrow, the Union will remember what you've done for us." The meeting ended. Officers returned to their ships. Throughout the fleet, crews prepared for battle. Engineers checked weapons systems. Marines loaded ammunition. Medical teams set up emergency facilities. Everyone knew their job. Captain and the Silent Wind departed first. They needed to reach the relay before the main attacks began. The stealth ship slipped away quietly, disappearing into the darkness of space. Spent the next week navigating through territory. She avoided patrols, hid near asteroids when sensors picked up enemy ships. Her crew barely slept. The stress was enormous. One mistake would alert to the entire operation. They reached the relay station 6 days later. It was massive, bigger than expected. Ships swarmed around it like insects around a hive. She counted 200 defenders, maybe more. "How are we supposed to get through that?" her pilot asked. "Studied the sensor readings. We don't go through it, we go under it. There's a debris field below the station. We'll hide in there, launch our torpedoes, and hope for the best." It was a terrible plan, but it was the only one they had. The day of operation arrived. Across thousands of light years, 8 task forces prepared to attack simultaneously. Admirals synchronized their clocks. Every ship knew exactly when to strike. "All units, this is Admiral," she broadcast on the fleet-wide channel. "In 30 minutes we attack. Fight hard, fight smart. And remember why we're here, for the innocent, for peace, for the future. Good luck to you all." Checked his weapons one final time. The Indomitable and his task force sat just outside the hive system. Sensors showed massive defenses. Ships, orbital platforms, ground-based cannons. It was going to be a nightmare. "Sir, all ships report ready," his communications officer said. Watched the countdown clock. 5 minutes. 4, 3. His hands were steady on the controls. He had been in combat before, but nothing like this. This was different. This was the battle that would end the war or cost them everything. 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Across space, Captain launched her torpedoes at the relay station. 20 nuclear warheads programmed to hit simultaneously. The defenders barely had time to react. The relay exploded. The blast was visible from several star systems away. The ship was caught in the edge of the shockwave, but her pilot managed to keep them stable. "Relay destroyed," reported. "All units, you have your window. Go, go, go." Countdown reached 0. 8 task forces jumped into 8 different systems simultaneously. Operation had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. The Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light speed directly above Hive. Captain had maybe 30 seconds before the orbital defenses opened fire. He used every one of them. "All ships, spread formation Delta 7. Concentrate fire on the orbital platforms. Launch all fighters. Execute." The human task force scattered like seeds in the wind. 15 warships moving in different directions, making themselves harder to target. Their weapons opened up immediately. Rounds streaked through space. Missiles locked onto platforms and defensive stations. They responded with fury. Plasma cannons fired from a dozen orbital fortresses. Swarms of fighters launched from the planet's surface. The battle became chaos within minutes. His tactical display lit up with warnings. His ship was taking hits. The shields were holding, but not for long. Engineering, I need more power to forward shields. Working on it, sir. A plasma burst hit the Indomitable's port side. The ship shuddered. Alarms blared across the bridge. Gripped his command chair as another explosion rocked the vessel. Hull breach on Deck 7, Damage Control reported. Emergency teams responding. But couldn't focus on his own ship's problems. He had a battle to run. His task force was hitting the hard, but they were paying for every meter of space. The cruiser's hammer took a direct hit from 3 ships at once. Its shields failed. Secondary explosions rippled across its hull. His hammer is breaking apart, the communications officer said, voice shaking. No escape pods launching. 300 crew members, gone in an instant. Felt the loss like a physical blow, but he couldn't stop, couldn't grieve, not yet. Mark their position, he ordered quietly. We'll recover them later. All ships continue the assault. We're here to finish this. Across the system, Commander was fighting his own desperate battle at Hive. His Marines had landed on the planet's surface in drop pods. They were hunting for the Hive Queen in an underground complex that stretched for kilometers. The defenders were insane with rage. They knew what the humans were trying to do, protect the Queen at all costs. Marines fought through tunnels barely wide enough for their armored suits. Warriors attacked from every direction. Contact front, a Marine shouted. Multiple targets close range. The tunnels erupted in gunfire. Human rifles against claws and mandibles. The Marines were outnumbered 10-1, but they had better armor, better weapons, and better training. They pushed forward meter by meter. Lieutenant's forces at Hive faced a different problem. They had evacuated their queen into space aboard a massive fortress ship. Frigates chased it through an asteroid field, trading fire the entire way. We can't let that ship escape, said. If the Queen survives, this whole attack was for nothing. Her frigate, Runner, was faster than the fortress ship but not as heavily armed. She needed to slow it down long enough for her bigger ships to catch up. She made a decision that would either win the battle or get her killed. All power to engines, she ordered. Ram course, target their engines. Her crew stared at her. Ma'am, that's... Do it. The Runner accelerated to maximum speed, watched the fortress ship grow larger on her. At the last second, she fired all remaining missiles directly ahead, clearing a path through the fortress ship's point defenses. The frigate slammed into the fortress ship's engine section at incredible speed. The impact nearly tore both ships apart, was thrown from her command chair. Emergency systems kicked in. Half her crew was unconscious from the G-forces. But the fortress ship's engines were dead. It drifted helplessly while cruisers closed in and finished it off. The Queen died in the explosion that followed. Back at Hive's forces had broken through the orbital defenses. Now came the hardest part. A strike team needed to reach the surface and kill the Queen. Couldn't send his Marines. They were pinned down fighting boarding parties on 3 different ships. He made a decision that terrified him. I'm going down myself. Assemble a team, 10 volunteers. Sir, you can't. His executive officer started. I can and I will. You have command of the fleet. Keep hitting them. Don't stop until that Queen is dead. Took a shuttle down to the planet's surface with his volunteer team. The planet's atmosphere was toxic to humans, thick with chemicals that would burn their lungs. They wore sealed combat suits and carried enough ammunition to fight a small war. The Queen's chamber was in the center of the main Hive city, and his team fought through streets filled with desperate warriors. They used grenades to clear barricades. They fired their weapons until the barrels glowed red-hot. Halfway to the chamber, debris from an explosion hit. A piece of metal sliced through his suit's arm section. He felt the toxic air burning his skin. His suit's emergency seal kicked in, but the damage was done. He was injured and losing blood. "Sir, you need medical attention," one of his team members said. "After we finish the mission," growled. He kept moving, one arm hanging useless at his side. They reached the Queen's chamber 40 minutes later. The guards were the largest warriors had ever seen. His team killed them in a brutal firefight that left 2 humans dead and 3 more wounded. The Queen herself was massive, easily 3 times the size of a regular. She made clicking sounds that might have been attempts at communication. Didn't care. He raised his rifle with his good arm and fired. The Queen died quickly. The moment she died, something changed. The warriors attacking shuttle stopped mid-charge. They seemed confused, lost. Without the Queen's coordination, they didn't know what to do. "Mission complete," transmitted to the fleet. "Queen is dead. Get me a medical team down here before I bleed out." Across 7 hive worlds, similar scenes played out. Some missions went smoothly. Others became nightmares. But within 18 hours, all 7 hive queens were dead. The response was immediate. Ships began broadcasting on all frequencies. The messages were confused at first, then became clearer. They were surrendering. Admiral received the first official surrender transmission aboard the Indomitable. A commander, speaking through a translator, offered to cease all hostilities immediately. "We did not know," they said. "We did not know beings like you existed. Please, no more death." Was standing in the medical bay, watching doctors treat wounded crew members. She had a bandage around her own arm from when a console exploded on the bridge. She was exhausted, covered in soot and blood, and she had lost good people today. But she won, humanity won, the Union won. "I accept your surrender," said into the communicator. "But there are conditions. You will withdraw to your original 3 worlds. You will submit to Union monitoring. You will never expand again. And if you ever threaten another species, we will come back. Do you understand?" "We understand," the commander replied. "We will obey." The war was over. The final casualty count was brutal. Humanity lost 8 ships completely, including this hammer. 2,000 crew members dead. 5,000 more wounded. The Union lost twice that many in support roles. But the alternative would have been worse. Millions of Union civilians saved. Entire worlds preserved. The threat ended forever. Captain and the Silent Wind never made it home. After destroying the relay, her damaged ship tried to escape but was caught by defenders. The entire crew died fighting. Made sure their names were recorded in every history book, on every memorial. They were heroes who gave everything for the mission. Commander survived his ground assault but lost his ship. The took too much damage and had to be scuttled. He transferred to another vessel and continued serving. Lieutenant recovered from her ramming attack. She got a medal and a promotion. She also got a new ship, bigger and better armed. Captain spent 2 weeks in a medical facility recovering from his injuries. The toxic atmosphere of Hive had done serious damage to his arm. Doctors said he might never regain full use of it. He didn't care. The mission was complete. That was enough. Medical officer Sora stayed behind in Union space. She helped establish medical exchange programs, teaching Union doctors human trauma medicine. She also studied Union medical techniques. "We can learn from each other," she told Admiral. "That's what allies do." Engineer worked with Union shipyards to upgrade their vessels. She couldn't make them into human warships, but she could make them better. Faster engines, stronger shields, better sensors. The Union would be able to defend themselves better in the future. Commander became the official liaison between human and Union military forces. He taught Union officers new tactics, new strategies. He learned their languages, their customs. He built bridges between species that a month ago didn't know each other existed. 3 months after the war ended, the Union Council offered humanity full membership in the Galactic Union. Admiral traveled back to Earth to present the offer to the United Earth Council. She stood before Earth's leaders and told them everything. The battles, the losses, the victories, the friends they had made among the stars. They were afraid of us at first, said. We looked like monsters to them, we still do, honestly, but they learned to see past that. They saw that humans fight for what's right. We protect the innocent. We help those who can't help themselves. And what do we get out of this union membership? A politician asked. Smiled, friends, allies, access to technologies we've never imagined, trade, cultural exchange, a place in the larger galaxy, and the knowledge that we're not alone anymore. Earth's council voted. The decision was unanimous. Humanity joined the Galactic Union. The Third Fleet returned to Earth as heroes, but they left something behind. A reputation, a legend that would echo across the stars for generations. When the galaxy was in its darkest hour, when peaceful species faced extinction, they answered the call. Admiral retired from military service 6 months later. She wrote a book about the war, about first contact, about everything humanity had learned. The last paragraph read, "People ask me if I'm proud of what we did. The answer is complicated. We killed thousands. We destroyed worlds. We brought violence to a peaceful civilization, but we also saved millions. We protected the innocent. We showed the galaxy that strength can be used for good. Earth made us strong so that we could survive. The Union taught us to use that strength to protect others. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's who we are. That's who we'll always be." Humanity's journey into the stars had begun with a distress call. It continued with war and sacrifice. It ended with peace and friendship. But more than that, it proved something important. Weren't monsters. They were protectors. They were heroes. They were exactly what the galaxy needed when darkness came. And if darkness ever returned, they would be ready.